Ladies and gentlemen, I will call the Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee to order. The first item on our agenda is to approve minutes of our regular meeting of May 6th. Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer, seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries. We will continue our work on the 2010-2011 budget review. And gentlemen, to make things perhaps move a little smoother, and for the benefit of those in the audience and those people watching on television, I will introduce the department head and ask the department head to join us at the table. And then I would ask the mayor to give his recommendation. And after the mayor's recommendation, then I would give the opportunity to the department head to speak to his or her budget at that time. And then if you would just let us know if you have any details that you need to bring in front of the committee, or if you agree with the mayor's recommendation. We will begin with the circuit court budget proposal, and that is Mrs. Gaither. And gentlemen, we need to be in section 2 of our notebooks and page 31. Mayor Burgess, page 31.
Okay, we have my recommendation is $460,832. That's about $37,000 less than Ms. Gaither had requested in line items. I think that's for office supplies, but I can't read that number, it's punched out. Reduce that from 72 to 60, and other charges, the court costs we reduced from 150 to 125, just sort of based on the current year's projection forward. And I believe we discussed that, but we can ask Ms. Gaither if she remembers that or she agrees with that. But that's my recommendation.
Mrs. Gaither.
Yes, I agree with the mayor's recommendation.
So moved. Sure.
To Commissioner Bullen, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. And we will take voice votes. Any discussion? Commissioner Sanders.
Just noticing that there's about a $24,000 difference there from last year's to this year's, but I guess it's a little cleanup in 709 and 11 and 719, and those office equipment, furniture and fixtures, and then data processing equipment. I guess that's really the difference. The rest of it's pretty much the same as last year.
That's correct, and she's not had any available monies in those line items for the last couple of years or so, and we thought she needed a little bit this year.
Yep.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Gaither. If you will please turn to page 32. Mrs. Gaither informed me just a few minutes ago that she had talked to Judge Taylor, and he was not going to be able to be in attendance tonight, Mayor Burgess, but he did say he accepted your recommendation.
Okay. And the recommendation is $243,709, and it's a continuation budget, with the exception of we have Lisa has to make these insurance items come out like they really are, so it's a little bit of increase right there, but otherwise it's pretty much stable.
So moved.
Okay, and that was Jernigan, I suppose. And for the benefit of those who are listening, that was the circuit court judge budget worksheet. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. General sessions. Gentlemen, we need to be on pages 33 and 34. We have Ms. Watkins and Judge Lowry. Mayor Burgess.
Okay. Well, this, you'll see it looks like a slight increase. It's about $20,000 more. The recommendation is $1,246,331. Most of that is some expected changes that we're hopeful that we'll make in the other salaries and wages for our staff members. But other than that, we've really not done anything that's different from her budget except add those things in there. We've also, again, given her a little bit of money for office equipment that she hasn't had heretofore to help catch up a little bit there.
Mrs. Watkins and/or Judge Lowry? Your comments, please.
Yeah, our budget's pretty much flat. I know I'm also getting a copier and a printer for our computer. They're getting a little puny. So we're going to update those a little bit. That's major what our change in budget is.
You accept the mayor's recommendation?
Yes.
Move to approve it.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Discussion, Commissioner Peake.
I thought that the state supplied us with some of that office equipment. Do they? Or maybe you can
We're
explain.
county employees. I'm a
This-
county
yeah,
employee.
this whole
Yeah,
department
Circuit
is-
judges are state, but
Okay, so it's.
I'm technically a county employee.
Sorry about that.
That's no problem. It is confusing.
The state tells us when to give you raises, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And by the way, I didn't get one this year. It's flat. That's probably the first time that this is back this year. There's no raises for the judges.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got to have a little humor now, though.
Thank you.
Drug court,
Okay, drug court is.
and Mayor Burgess will need to be,
Here she is.
Mrs. Snyder, yes. Ms. Snyder, we need to be on pages 35 and 36, and then Mayor Burgess, we will also then move over to page 96, because one position in her budget is funded in her drug court budget, and then half of it, or part of it, is out of this ARA money.
That's true. So you need to look at both of those pages sort of
To get-
concurrently, 35 and 6, plus
And-
page 96.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, well, this, but in any event, we've had a few iterations on this budget, so we may have to have a little help if you have some questions, but in any event, the recommendation is, from the drug court just itself, is $340,446, and you can see that's down substantially from where we are now, largely to the fact that we've lost some of our grants. But if you go over to page 96, well, first, before we go there, look at line item 161. You can see that position is sitting there at $9,268, which means we've had to take that full-time position of $26,291 and reduce it. That was the original plan. But if you look at page 96, she, I believe, thinks she's going to be able to get this ARA JAG grant, and that line 161, that $18,000 added to the number on the previous page, plus the attendant benefits, will restore that position to a full-time position. Is that correct, Ms. Snyder? So that's the purpose of that.
Right.
Now, other than that,
And we have written confirmation that change has been made with the ARA grant.
okay,
It's
so
not a
we're,
maybe, it's a definite.
that's a definite now. So
Yes.
we can fold these two together now.
Yes.
Which we didn't know that.
Well, no, you can't
Well,
fold them
they
together.
still have to be, they still have to be separate budgets.
Have to account for them separately.
Yes, sir.
We've got to keep that
Yes,
ARA
sir.
money separate.
If you'll see, in particular, 189 other salaries and wages, she's had to reduce that number from from 168 to 105. You've had to, I believe, remove 2 positions there.
Laid off one and made the other one part-time.
So she's
That's
had
why the
to.
part-time numbers come up.
Yes.
Yes, correct. So her budget is substantially reduced out of necessity,
Yeah. we
and
think
it's,
we did.
that's our recommendation.
What part
My
is
recommend-
match? What part is match on
Well,
No
I-
match.
No,
No
our
match, it's
match
all-
is, it's all in-kind sort of match.
No, there's,
We don't have any more,
there's nothing on here that requires a match.
right,
Okay.
not, we did previously, but not now.
We did previously.
Yes.
You agree
Mo-
with the budget, mayor's budget recommendation?
Motion approved.
Well, yes. I hated to lose staff. It's,
So moved.
way it goes.
Commissioner Bullen, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you, that motion carries.
And I was also asked to inform the Budget Committee that Public Safety gave me permission to apply for a grant that does require a match, but we are doing it all in kind. Right, Elaine? That's
3 years, is it 3 years?
3 years,
300,000?
500,000, 300,000 maybe, yeah. And then am I supposed to bring up the other thing too? The other possible grant for the part-time position? There's a possibility that we will also be subcontracted with my part-time person to do some alcohol and drug abuse therapy out of the jail through a grant that CADCOR is getting, Community Anti-Drug Coalition in Rutherford County. But we will not be informed of that until June, I guess, or July 1. So there's still a chance that my budget's going to change again and I can bring my part-time person back to full-time person, but we'll have to discuss that. Anything
Right.
else?
Okay. Good.
Thank you, Ms. Hubbard.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
We are ready for Chancery Court, pages 37 and 38.
Joanna Riggs.
Joanna Riggs, hello.
Okay,
Mayor Burgess.
this is very much a continuation budget. I'm not sure, there's a $1,000 increase on postal charges, but basically, there is really nothing that we have changed through this whole process. So recommendation is $806,743.
Ms. Riggs.
We agree with that recommendation.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner P., thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pages 39 and 40, Juvenile Court. And Judge Davenport. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Recommendation is $453,554. It's very, very much a continuation budget. We made a slight adjustment again because we had to with respect to insurance, dependent employee insurance, but other than that, we've really not done anything to this budget. It's very, very tight.
We accept the recommendation of the mayor.
Approve.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Jordan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
District Attorney, page 41. Mr. Whitesell. And Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Okay, recommendation $65,989. Absolutely no changes except a few tweaks on the benefit numbers.
And we agree with the recommendation.
So moved.
Commissioner Bullen, seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Page 42, it's on the back of that page. Office of Public Defender, Mr. Melton, and your recommendation, Mayor Burgess.
Recommendation is $24,400. That's a $4,000 increase, and we very much respect the need for increasing that, what we're calling other contracted services. This is sort of a part-time approach that we've taken. The public defender has to help with our juvenile court system, and I recommend that we increase that. That will help them. They've been very gracious not to continue to ask for a lot more than that.
So moved, Madam Chairman. Well, I apologize.
Mr. Melton
I certainly agree with the mayor's recommendation. Thank you.
and Commissioner Sandlin, your motion to...
Yes, ma'am.
And
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Jordan. All in, excuse me, I'm sorry, Commissioner P.
Does this meet all the state requirements? I know the state put some requirements on us where we had to come in with some more funds for the public defender's office. I just want to make sure we're in good shape.
We're short of that, but I feel we're on solid ground. The mayor and I have discussed that in years past, and we understand the tight budget condition. So what I hope to do is incrementally get the county to whatever level that would be. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know if anybody's going to complain as long as I don't.
So this is kind of, you get some pro bono help from lawyers or something with the juveniles. Is that what it is that the state that started all this really? Is that the area?
The juvenile court is responsible for providing attorneys for detention hearings and things of this nature, and these funds are primarily used for that purpose. I ran the figures on what we spent the first 6 months of this current budget year, and we had done, if I may refer to my notes, about 233 cases. So with the budget figure, it's about $51.50 a case. So we're running a pretty tight ship. I don't know what the current figure cost per day to the county is for a juvenile who's in detention, but there's a certain amount of offset, I think, when we can come in and get a child out of detention at a cost for our services of $51 or so versus what it might cost the county to hold that child in detention for a number of days. So there's a certain offset. I can't tell you what that is. We'd have to crunch all those numbers, but the county's been very gracious to give us this. I wish the state would fund a full-time public defender in juvenile court. There's certainly a need for it. This is a step in that direction, and the county's been very gracious to get us started.
That's one reason I brought that up, because this is basically a state mandate that we're trying to
Yes,
fulfill here.
there is a state statute that requires counties to match funds to a district attorney's office in the amount of 75% to a public defender office.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Youth Services, pages 43 and 44. Mrs. Sanders, if you will join us, please. And Mayor Burgess, of course, we're at the bottom of the page. You'll find out why these zeros are here. It'll be on the next page for the next budget. The bottom of page 43 and on the back to page 44.
Youth Services starts at line item 101 at the bottom of that page, okay? And the recommendation is $871,309. That's largely in two components. One, again, employee independent insurance had to be adjusted because of what insurance we're providing for her employees. And we've had to make some adjustments in her Youth Services Officer 112, but and those are some expected increases we're going to have as well. But we did have to fix one person's step that had been in error for some time. So that's what we've done there.
Ms. Sanders?
And I agree with the recommendation.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner P., seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Is that correct? Or Commissioner Jernigan? Okay. Commissioner Sandlin?
That line item 312, is that the?
Flow through from the state.
Yeah.
That's a pass-through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Teen tracks and
Teen learning.
teen something.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Domestic violence, pages 45 and 46, and then likewise, Mayor Burgess, we will need to go over to 97 because they also have some ARA money. 45 and 46, and then over to page 97.
Okay. 45 and 46, the total for the Victim Assistance Program, my recommendation is $164,399. That's basically the same as hers, except we had to make, again, some adjustments on benefits and insurance, et cetera, so there's only a $3,000 difference from what she originally suggested. So we're in agreement on that. And then when we go to page 97, again, we're in agreement there. We're exactly in agreement as far as what she suggested, and the recommendation is $26,658.
Ms. Phone?
I agree with the mayor's recommendation.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Page 51. This is traffic control. The county is responsible for maintenance and repair of equipment at traffic lights at Walter Hill, State Route 840, the racetrack, Almaville Road, and Compton Road.
And that's the same we've been budgeting previously, $20,000.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner P. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Question. Commissioner.
Almaville Road, and they're putting, get a couple more being put in on Almaville. And one's in the city of Smyrna, and what about the one way out by Independence Road, do you know?
Oh, it's on State Road.
State Road, okay.
put them, we just repair.
Okay, and he asked the question afterwards, too.
Each having them done.
Okay. Did you get your question answered,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Schaefer? Okay. Correctional Work Center, pages 56 through 58. Mr. Salandi, hello. 56, yes. And Mayor Burgess, your recommendation,
The
please.
recommendation is $3,214,453. This is a continuation budget, even though you'll see that that's a slight increase in that, again, there's some expected and anticipated changes we'll make in the overall pay plan. But other than that, we've really not made any changes of any significance. So no new positions, no changes in the positions. That's a continuation.
Mr. Salandi.
I agree with Mayor Burgess. Pretty much we only increased one line, that's the prisoner clothing, due to speculating increase in the inmate population, but other than that, it's pretty much stayed the same.
Move to approve.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you.
I'll second it. I've got a
Second, Commissioner
question.
P. We need a few seconds here.
Just have a question on your utilities. I noticed that's under what our actual was by, what, 30,000? I think we're gonna be all
Well-
right there, or did y'all look at that, or I'm
Yes.
looking at that wrong?
Well, the 10-month utility cost is $143,000 so far this year, and if you project that forward, that'll be about $168,000. So we still think we're 200 is more than what we're currently spending this year. It appears about
Electric rates are
30,000.
going up tomorrow, next few days they're going to announce.
So we've got a little room for it to go up, but we still do have a margin of error. We hope.
Okay.
They asked for a little pest control money and that got taken out. Just gonna find it if we need it.
It's in Ben's budget.
Right.
It's in Ben's, but okay. Hate to go away with primary maintenance issue.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Juvenile detention, pages 59 and 60. Ms. Dew, Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Okay, page 60, the total is, that we're recommending is $1,792,678, which is again a few dollars more than her request, but really and truly this is, again, a status quo budget. There's really nothing there except we've had to make some adjustments in the actual salary components just because of what is happening and we expect to happen. But we gave her a little bit of an increase in overtime pay because she's been experiencing a need for that. But past that, it's the same.
Ms. Dew?
Well, I agree with this recommendation, save for one point. And I've passed out some paperwork to everybody. I brought this, or I tried to address this at the February Public Safety meeting, and I would like to continue this discussion tonight. I have reduced my budget for this year from last year by a little more than $5,000, and I'm hoping that we can have discussion about taking a part-time employee to a full-time position because it's just about a wash. And the 10 hours that I can gain from this 30-hour-a-week employee going full-time would be very beneficial.
That's what she's done to us.
And
this is phase 2, step 2 of making it full-time.
she's already earning insurance, so it's not going to be very much more to get this employee full-time.
You say you brought this to public safety?
Yes, and
What
we
did-
had some minor
What's happening?
discussion about it, and then we talked about it coming and having further discussion
What public
tonight.
safety, public safety
Well, I
forwarded
don't,
on?
at that time, I don't think we knew what the future held, is the biggest reason we did not act on it then.
When do you know what the future holds?
When you get there.
Apparently right now.
Deep thoughts.
I can tell you.
Professor Cantor.
Mayor, have you looked at that recommendation that she's got there?
Well, I haven't missed many budget meetings, public safety meetings, but I don't remember the discussion. I'm sure that we had it. But I wish I'd had an opportunity to review this again before we had this tonight, but.
Can we look at it tomorrow night?
Oh, it's your budget,
Give you a
yeah.
chance And give you a chance to look at it.
Well, I mean, what she's quoted is the numbers it would take to make that position. Will remind you that this was a part-time employee that was moved to 30 hours, and when you do that for an extended period of time, you have to give them the health insurance benefits, and that's the reason. That's what's happened here. That happened without proper foreknowledge, and now we're ready to go for this.
No, we all knew at the beginning of my fiscal year budget that wasn't a surprise.
Okay, it was a surprise to the mayor. I didn't know the rule. I
Okay.
didn't know the rule that if you work somebody part-time 30 hours, you'd have to convert them and give them the benefits, the health and then other
But we
insurance.
talked about a 30-hour position.
I understand.
So it's clear that I didn't sneak one by.
You knew the rule. I didn't know it.
Okay.
That's all we'll say.
So it might make sense then to go ahead and make them full-time for another $5,500
Yeah.
to actually get another 10 hours per week.
That's correct.
So
Well, if we do that, will that reduce your
overtime.
part-time?
Part-time money would just move into a different line item. It would go from I believe it's it would move from 169 into 161. It would just move a line item.
Could we not defer this till tomorrow night and give the mayor and Ms. Nolan a chance to work out some scenarios on this? I mean, it hadn't been advertised for tomorrow night, but if we defer it tonight, it could be.
But we will continue with the general fund
Yeah.
tomorrow night and
Yeah.
hopefully finish the general fund tomorrow night. What's the will of the committee?
I'd like to ask one more question
Surely.
before we get there. And that's that this lady, this person, is a secretary. So
She's a receptionist.
Yeah, okay. So when she works 30 hours a week, when she's not there, what happens?
When she's not at the front desk at the reception area, then one of the other people in that area have to leave their desk or their office and be her for those 2 hours each
Okay.
day.
Is there a need to cover for them during that time, or do they have a position?
Well,
that-
then are you asking if the employee that's covering has to have someone cover for them?
Yeah, ever.
Well, it's usually me that's sitting up there for 2 hours, and so I'm not doing my job for 2 hours every day.
And y'all cover during lunchtime?
Well, we eat at our desk, so there is no lunchtime.
I'm like Steve, who was it?
That's more
I was
cost.
Let her sit down with the mayor and then they come back tomorrow night.
That's not up here, but it will be down here, is it right?
But it's here.
I'll make a motion to defer this till tomorrow night, bring it up other business tomorrow night.
Commissioner Jordan has asked, or has made a motion to defer it, seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, this will be deferred, and tomorrow night our meeting is at 5:30.
We just run your dinner plan for tomorrow night.
At the top of the agenda?
We certainly can. Okay, and we will put you at the, we will put you at the top of the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I thought he said other business.
I'll amend my motion. Well, it's already been voted on now, though, but.
Well, he suggested that we do it at the top, that's all.
Okay.
Unless you all want to wait until the very end of
I didn't know
general
if we legally
fund.
needed to follow the agenda, but we can adjust the agenda whenever we want. So.
Okay. Okay, gentlemen, we should be on pages 61 and 62. And this is the rural fire protection, the county fire and rescue. And Mr. Farley is joining us. Mayor Burgess?
Okay, this is a completely new budget request. It is not continuation.
That's for sure.
And this department is proposed to have one employee, which would be a fire chief, and of course the attendant normal benefits that go with that. If you come all the way down, I mean, there's some smaller changes here. This assumes that we're going to merge 3 departments: Salem Blackman Volunteer Fire, Rutherford Volunteer Fire, and Rutherford Rescue. and we've taken those overhead expenses in those departments and sort of distributed into this department to give us a budget. The other contracted services line 399 is what we would be paying on a, same as we're paying $30,000 now each to the volunteer fire departments. This would be our, you might say, contract instead of contribution. That's the way you have to do it if we actually become a county fire rescue department. We have to contract with these agencies to provide the same services they're currently providing in their same areas.
It's listed on the next page.
Is that on the next page?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They've got through that.
But, so in any event, these other things are miscellaneous, normal overhead operating expenses that we would incur with respect to the operation of this. If you look at that $498,235, which is the total, and subtract $300,000, which normally would be under contribution, that leaves you with $198,000. And the current cost associated with the fire coordinator, which is over in another budget, which has been removed from the Emergency Management Agency budget, is probably in the $53,000 to $55,000, which would put the cost of this department operating-wise at about $143,000 to $145,000. And so the reason I'm giving you that information, if you take that 143 and subtract the four components of $30,000 that we will not be spending, we would be at about $23,000 to $25,000 of increase over the current fire coordinator budget. That's a brief overview of how that works.
I assume Mr. Farley is okay with that.
I agree with his recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve this budget.
Commissioner P.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Discussion, please.
We had talked about applying for some grants for the building and some equipment. What happens if those grants don't come through?
Okay, well, we postpone the building, number one, if they don't come through. We would post the building would be one piece of it. And I think the other grant was those two fire rescue trucks. We wouldn't do them. We would use the truck that Rutherford Rescue has, and even Walter Hill has a truck. So we would continue to use just those trucks.
Kind of have to put together what you've got.
We just have to cobble this together.
Where would you operate out of?
Well, we'd operate about of Salem Blackman probably, or
and
Rutherford
we
Volunteer.
acquire rescue, they'll have 3 vehicles, and we would still be able to create those 5 rescue zones. With Walt Hill, Kittrell, Allenville, and then Rutherford and the Salem Blackman station. We just have to use existing equipment and hope that it will hold up.
Until we can get those 2 new ones. But
because those trucks the county bought back in the 90s are getting a little bit of age on them now.
Yeah, they really kept them in tremendously good shape.
They've all taken great care of their equipment.
Any further discussion?
So the $30,000 that we're giving the volunteer fire departments, that we've been giving the volunteer fire departments each year, now they're coming under this umbrella as far as a contract is concerned.
Yeah, it's just a terminology change.
Right. So, I mean, would there be a reason why they wouldn't sign that or come on?
Well, I don't think so.
Hey,
I mean, they've signed a little agreement even with this year, with respect to our $30,000 contribution, that they would provide a certain amount of insurance, et cetera. So I don't think there's any reason to think they wouldn't. I think they're supportive of this.
All the volunteer departments every year have to file an income statement with the county when they accept county funds like that and account for those closely.
Correct.
So the other employees, no, see, that's the insurance. There's no other employees. We got one.
There's no other employee. There won't be one until
we got
sometime later.
$10,000 in uniforms. Surely there's not $10,000 in one person's uniform.
No, that's for the whole department.
The whole little department. See, we got 3 departments merging into this one,
right.
And we'll have to continue to work with them on those costs within those 3 departments.
Really, I figure that as a minimum.
The only salaried one out of the county.
Only one salaried employee, correct.
The fire chief.
The other people are all volunteers, and we'll help with those volunteer uniforms out of those 3 agencies that are coupling up and coming together.
I see.
As it stands now, or the year we're in right now, there was $420,000 given to volunteer fire department / rescue squad. And 90,000 of that is going into the actual use of this new fire station.
Correct.
Because there's 3 entities
30 times
merging
that
into
way.
one.
But it's three rescues as well. They get the same money.
Any further discussion?
And all this money is coming out of the
County General.
All of this was already in the general
sinus
fund.
fund or whatever.
Sinus.
Yeah.
Sinus.
We've got to backtrack and make it
All we will say.
identified as site as a tax, right?
I mean, it's already a site as tax.
Yeah.
So what we would do is say this is a budget of 498. And I think last meeting we came up with over 600 pretty easily. I think we had 800 total of all the site as taxes that we have going into the general fund. That's not specified for anything. We're just now going to say those green dollars are going to fund this budget.
We've spent some of that money though in other
You've spent
things,
You've spent it in.
so to speak.
Well, that's what I'm
So
saying.
we're gonna have-
These monies were already
just-
in the budget too. You're just kind of moving the monies around in the budget from that 58,900 contributions, now moving into here.
Well, you had the 420 for all the volunteer fire departments, and you had the fire coordinator.
You move the fire coordinator out of
I know.
EMA over here.
Yeah, but you can take the 420 we spent last year
Right.
and add the fire coordinator's salary and compare that to the 498. And that puts you what he mentioned, a
Yeah.
$20,000 more increase.
Right.
There you go. That's even
That's what we-
simpler.
Approximately.
Right.
Gotcha.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries.
Easier than you thought it'd be, wasn't it? Easier than you thought it'd be.
Pages 64 and 65, emergency management. I don't see Mr. Allen. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Okay, the recommendation is in that.
We have
Lisa,
a change.
She has a change. We have a number that we didn't have before, and she'll give that number to you for line item 790.
It's 759,446.
It's a big change.
759,444.
The 368 goes to 7.
The 790 line item, that's zero.
Zero goes?
Yeah.
759.
Well, see, this year it's
446.
860,000, okay?
These are the Homeland
Homeland
Security
Security
grants that
money.
Okay.
won't get spent this year, will roll into next year.
Okay.
So there'll be an offsetting revenue too,
759 what?
446. That brings your total to 1,127,806.
The total number should be 1,127,806.
And there's really two basic changes. Of course, that number is about $100,000 less in line item 790 than last year. And if you'll notice back up on line item 105, that's the number that the fire coordinator position is in this year, and you see that's dropped from 83,000 to 43. So that's where that reduction comes there. So those two items are about the only changes that you're going to see there.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner P. Seconded by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Sheriff's Department. Chief Deputy Nelson. You're going to be here for a little while. And you probably have some people that you may want to call up at different times. Just let me know.
Okay.
We should be at page 47 to start with. Sheriff's Department. And it'll go through page 49. Mayor, your recommendation, please.
Okay. Page 49, the recommendation is $17,675 and $948.
17 million.
Did I say
Yes.
17,000?
Yeah.
Woo!
What's 3 zeros?
17,675,948. Okay. Let's see here. Make note of just a few things. This is not many changes on this whole budget, believe it or not. Line item 106, that's a new grant position there that Regina can tell us about.
Domestic violence investigator.
Domestic violence investigator. And that's a new position that we've just received that
I
approval
believe
of.
that's the one that starts in
July
July.
1.
July.
Yes.
Okay.
3-year grant, something like that, similar.
And Regina, please note that on overtime pay, I have reduced that by $100,000 from your request, in that we're not nearly on the track to spend even that much money this year, so let's just make note of that. We're on the track to spend about $420,000 so far within 10 months, because they probably pay out a lot more of it toward the end of the year too. And the other salaries and wages, there are some increases there. Except for just the normal increases that we tried to build in here, there are 2 additional SRO positions that are required, and we agree on those completely, and that's what's in that. As you go all the way down through all the rest of those until we get down to data processing services, I agree that we need that increase of $83,116 on line item 317 as they have requested. The other numbers are pretty much continuation. We can go all the way down to line item 709, and we're in agreement on all those line items. That data processing equipment, that 62,994, I've reduced that to 17,000. They're aware of that. We have moved over into the OIT budget, which I think you've already heard about even earlier.
I have a question about that.
Okay, you can ask about it.
Okay.
But we took that money and folded in them for some storage capacity that we're putting in place for them to have access to. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. The 62,994, if we move the storage capacity money, I believe the balance I have, it leaves us 17,994.
So you need another $1,000.
Yes, sir.
So moved. No, I'll make that 1718 if that's. I will stand corrected.
Okay.
Just make that 18?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Law enforcement equipment, they've increased that. I've agreed with that. That's now that we've got our own firing range, et cetera, and there's some other equipment, they think they will spend those
Wait a minute,
dollars.
709, make it $1,700?
No, make it 18,000
18,000.
instead of 17,000. 716, I agree with their number there. We get over to motor vehicles, and
Before you go into that, could I ask about
Yes, sure.
708?
708, okay, yes,
In
ma'am.
public safety, we talked about an additional 25,000. Is that reflected in the budget you have?
You have to remind me what we talked about, please.
For the battery backup system for the consoles and communications to be put in December.
And that's not in your first 25. Let me see your notes here just a moment.
I don't have that in your
It was
recommendation.
requested 25,000 and the mayor suggested 25,000. Line 708.
The original request is 25,000. We are requesting an additional 25,000 for the equipment that has to go in December.
It's not in it.
No, that's
Not in that line.
Well, that's what
I mean,
we
I don't
discussed.
have
in
it.
public
We didn't
safety.
have that. We've failed to communicate properly on that, Regina.
I mean, it wasn't on this, but you're saying it was something added on?
When we met at public safety last Wednesday night.
I wasn't there. Which would have been after this, okay, which was after this was already prepared.
Yes.
So no, it's not in here.
We discussed it, we would be able to, if I'm not mistaken.
If we did, let's
I mean,
take,
'cause we
let's
did
take
this
just
April
one
29th.
moment, if you don't mind, then. Elaine, do we have the public? Yep, we have public safety. Just one moment here.
I don't remember seeing it, I looked through this,
We talked about the 17,000. 2 SRO positions, but we didn't talk about that 25,000.
Well, originally, you was thinking, you were thinking it was going to go in the 709, the 25,000 was going to go in there, and I said no, because it was communication equipment for dispatch, it should go in 708.
Okay. And we're thinking that's 25,000, so that's needed just for routine. So this is a battery backup system for dispatch.
Yes,
and
it's
those
for-
batteries need to be replaced.
Yes, sir. It's for all, it backs up all the consoles.
Okay, I'm going to agree with Regina since they've been so cooperative, and I don't think they would be asking for this foolishly. So I'll go with her, make that 50,000. So we're up a plus 26,000 so far, Regina.
Okay.
Okay, on those motor vehicles, Lisa has computed exactly, this will get us 14 new cars. And the way they had this structured, Regina, you had 10 for patrol, 2 for replacement SRO, and 2 for new SROs. So in any event, you've got 14 new cars, and I sort of thought you guys would probably hand down some of the older cars that are being phased out of patrol to SRO, but in any event, you've got room to buy 14 new vehicles. Is that more or less correct?
Okay. The original request was 10 patrol, 2 for
CID,
CID.
excuse me.
And then 2 for SROs.
And then 2, but down here we had 2 more.
Yes, the 2 more.
So there's really 16, excuse me.
Yes, sir. And yes, we do roll down the cars.
So you're going to roll down these 4 SROs, but you're going to be able to purchase this year a total of 10, 12, 14, 16 new cars. Is that right, Lisa?
That used to be our policy to make sure that they give the SROs the high mileage cars because they're not in the pursuit situations and things like that.
They had 3 here. You changed that to 2. Yes, right.
That's what I did, but then what they told me prior to the meeting, that this was their estimate for 2.
That's too much for 2. 65,000 because you're buying them up here for
27.
27.
Okay, these
I'll
two.
buy them quick.
The guys on the interstate have the Tahoes or whatever.
Yes. I spoke with the vehicle manager, and he said that when we get the 2 new SROs, they will not need the in-car cameras. So you could take out $49.90 times 2, which would reduce that down to the $27,718 for each car.
Which is the same as...
Yes.
Well, the CID cars, they had those at a lower number even, 23,000.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's 46. I've added 43. So we would need to add about $3,000 more.
It's probably close enough for what we're talking about.
Okay.
We have to.
They can find $3,000.
They'll find $3,000 somewhere else if we...
The cameras, we don't need any new cameras this year, correct?
Yeah, we're having to... How many new cameras do we have?
We do not need any new cameras.
Oh, okay.
Because all the cars that are replacing the cameras will be pulled out and put in the new cars.
But these new SRO vehicles, well...
No, they don't have
We've got
cameras.
two new people.
2 new people.
Okay. All right, we'll go with that. They don't need any more cameras in. Are we okay within a few $1,000s of 435, 433, 413?
Within a few $1,000s. Yes.
Less than 5, we think.
So the total 17,701,948. We're adding 26,000.
26,000.
70 million what?
17,701,948.
Does this show that, isn't it the lieutenant that's in the special patrols, is it, that is coming over the sheriff's
Yes,
department?
when we get to the drug, when you get to the drug fund.
You'll see that's been
you'll see
reduced
that's
over there.
gone.
He's in it.
It was in this one double at one time because they left the guy that was getting replaced.
Yeah, but we
You did do that
we
part.
got it fixed.
You got that part
They're just
fixed.
using a
Okay.
position they already had
Yeah.
available here. There's no new position.
Well, we were, the one we had the other night in public safety was double.
Right.
And it seems like
Right.
some of that stuff is in here now, some of them didn't, so that's what I was asking. What about the school patrol? There's
You've got-
in this one?
We've got,
included
the
back
school
there?
patrol are in here.
Let's look at...
It's total of 68 a total of 68 patrol people are in this budget.
That's under the part-time personnel up there, I believe, in it, Lisa.
Mhm.
We've added 4 new patrol people into this budget, and they're up there in line item 169.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Yes. A couple of questions on, like the other salaries in 169. You know, the actual spent $7,800,000. We're at $9 million there. I mean, are we on? What are we right now? We're talking about a month.
Which line item, sir?
169.
That's part-time personnel.
180.
189 is
I'm
other
sorry,
salaries.
189.
Oh, okay.
That would have been at the end of April.
This would have been the end of April.
Mhm.
May.
April 28th.
June.
2 more months.
So, April, May, and June, 2 months.
May and June.
So
They're gonna come-
we're on top of it there then?
Yeah, we're going to come in under budget.
Well, we're looking at maintenance and repair service on vehicles right here at 92,000. So you're going to spend another 90-something thousand there to, or 80-something thousand right there.
What line item is
that?
For 2
338.
months on 338.
Well, you spent 93. I mean, that, what they don't spend will roll,
It rolls in the next year, this year.
rolls into fund balance.
Well, I understand. I mean, they always pulling out of their line items, and that's great. But I mean, you know, we're increasing the line item here. Well, no, we're not. We're
Leaving it.
1,000 less than what it was last year, but we're only.
Looks like they won't spend much more than 100, but you never know when they're going to have something major. So they've had a little bit of, I guess you could say, more than they typically would spend, and they haven't spent it.
In gasoline, do you know where we are on actual on it?
That all changes.
Yes, sir. The gasoline, they're doing very, very well. If gas doesn't go back up, the 700 is more than enough money.
But we left it at that.
We
If
left
it does
it-
go up, we're
Worried that
covered.
it would go
If
up.
it goes up, we're covered. We've just been very fortunate this year.
And where was the SRO line item right here?
SROs are within 189.
They're within that 189 number.
So how many new people in the sheriff's?
3. 3 full-time.
Well, the 2
4
SROs and the 1 grant position and the 4 part-time.
And the 4 part-time.
So 7 faces.
7 faces, yes, sir.
Refresh my memory on the SROs. The SROs are moving to some extent. We're using one.
There's 2.
What are we doing?
there's-
I forgot.
there's,
Lascassas, Kittrell.
Wait a minute. There's currently 2 SROs at Central.
Mhm.
So one basically will stay.
Mhm.
One will go to one of the middle schools.
Mhm.
So you've got a new SRO coming in that'll hit the other middle schools.
That's 1 new person right
That's one
there.
new. And then
The new middle schools will have 1 apiece.
Yes. And then the next SRO is going to split their time between McFadden, Homer Pittard.
Well, they won't actually split their time, but they're going to find a way to share that person spread across several other people that will allow them to cover 4 more locations with.
But Lascassas is keeping their SRO.
Yeah, we're not
Yes.
changing
And
it.
Kittrell.
We're
But
picking
don't
up
we
some-
have some K through 5s that are getting half an SRO?
McFadden doesn't have one.
I know McFadden doesn't at all. They're going from a K through 8
To a
and
K
doing
through
okay
5.
with that one to a K through 5, and now they're getting half an SRO to some extent.
A piece of one. It may be a 4th.
Maybe, but they're getting a piece of an SRO.
That's correct.
And
And
I
campus
thought
school.
we had some other K through 5s that were sharing an SRO.
Well, Thurman Francis is going to pick up 1,
Yeah.
and Campus
Primary.
and Laverne
Laverne
Primary.
Those are the other 4
Those-
locations that don't have one now, right?
Right.
The sheriff's department's got that worked out.
I'm just wondering if we had to add a couple extra faces in this budget year, but, you know, if other schools are getting by with half of one, Lascassas and Kittrell are going from a K through 8 to a K through 5, you know, there'd be more discipline problems, I would think, in those upper 3 grades. They could share one, and there'd be 1 instead of 2.
I don't.
Just
I
my,
don't-
but I'm not an expert on this.
I don't agree with that myself. I mean, I think on school, if you look at, you gotta look at the way the school is. They've studied them, they know which ones.
But I think there's some other schools that are sharing SROs, though, some other K through 5s.
I think we could ask them to take this back and see if this is.
I'm just,
for leaving it.
I'll vote for it, so.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable thing to do.
Commissioner Sandlin.
Another question on one of my pet peeves, and you already know, It's the
Oh,
overtime.
let's guess.
It's overtime. We'll go back to where I remember it was only $30,000. Now it's over $1 million. Or half a million, excuse me, half a million,
687.
half a million. Well, it's 675 was budgeted last year. They're at 354,000 in overtime pay. Do we know what actual is today in overtime?
I don't, but I believe last year you ended at 437. I don't think that they paid out. Virginia, remind me, I was thinking that y'all didn't pay out a whole lot of your comp at the end of last year, or did you? I just don't remember. I was thinking, I want to back up and look a year behind.
I know
this
that we
one.
did pay out some. I don't know if we paid out a whole lot.
What are you thinking about this year, Virginia? Do you have any projections on how much more you will need to pay out before this year's out? Or
No,
you
sir, I
hadn't
do
thought
not.
about that yet?
I do not.
Well, I've reduced them 100,000
In 0708,
That's reducing their request. They're actually getting
Well,
another
that three-
100,000 more. No, they're not. They're
No,
getting
they're
another
not.
20,
12,000.
10,000.
12,000 more.
Sorry.
in the
12,000.
0708 year, they paid out 623,000. And then last year, they paid out 437. So I was thinking they didn't pay out as much as they did the prior year.
My thought has always been on this overtime on any department. It's not just sheriff's. I'm not picking on the sheriff's department, even though his is the most probably. But is that, you know, we have to pay it when we have to pay it. We've got to pay it. But then the request comes up here monthly to pay it. We give them 300,000 or whatever it is to get them through the long run of the year. And then when it gets narrowed down into the last quarter or whatever, that's when you kind of see what's moving, what's not moving, what we got to pay out. We come in here and we pay it out. But you know, that's my stance, and it's always been my stance. And I mean, we've gone a long way. You know, $675,000 in overtime pay.
We stayed way on.
$687,000.
Yeah, but
$687,000.
it's a reflection of the comp time that accumulates, and they at some point have to pay that down.
Well, the SROs, I mean, they use that for their summer break.
Yes.
So the other is the, you know,
Yeah, but you also have to take into consideration when you have more arrests, you have more court time, and you have more, when you have more sick time, more vacation time, you still have to cover the shifts.
I know. I know. I
And
know.
isn't
I
there
just
more
hate it.
extradition?
What's that?
Isn't there, the last year and the year before, there's been
Yes.
more extradition because that budget seems like we keep having to transfer money.
Well,
So
we're
if
on-
people are going out to California or wherever to get them, that means somebody's got to be back here.
I think we're just arguing over something.
We've
Don't
been to
make
this
sense to
movie
me.
before.
Well, we're only raising his budget a $585,000.
His whole
It's just
budget. You
just a
come
tad
up
bit
one
over
out.
$500,000. It's not a really a big deal, I guess.
No, I think they've explained it year in and year out. They explain it and it keeps bouncing off of you.
It's just a penny on the
Yeah.
tax rate. Or more.
Most of that is step increases that we put into all these budgets.
You look at line item for line item, there's very few increases.
Let's just pointed out, it's just a $500,000 increase.
You just got through telling you most of it was step raises.
Thank you.
Regina, you do need to speak to anything else in the budget. So with this bottom line number, would you agree with that recommendation
I
from the
do
mayor?
have one other thing I'd like to speak about. The promotion, the one promotion that we're asking for in this budget, I'd like to request that it stay in.
Okay.
I know that,
I've respectfully disagree with that. I've talked to the sheriff and Regina, and we've reviewed this very, very carefully. This person is a person that's being paid at a very high level. In fact, being paid equivalent to a lieutenant salary at 10 years of experience. So Sonia and I have had a real struggle with this, to be honest. Respectfully, we can't find a justification for this in that there's going to be a step increase associated with this as well that's already in here for this person. So a person at about $50,000 is where she is currently. And we can't find rational reason to support that.
Is that the only difference in the whole budget?
Yes, sir, as far as personnel.
You agree with everything but that?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna move to accept the mayor's recommendation.
Second.
Commissioner Jernigan, seconded by Commissioner Bullock. Discussion?
Just, let me ask the question. I've got it this evening and I've gotten through Ms. Cullen's, I don't know, resume, et cetera. What sets her apart from other paralegals that are in the system, in the courtrooms that are this type thing?
Well, I know that she handles all of our court cases. She does researches for the officers, and I know she helps out the attorneys. That's just one of the jobs that she does, probably the major portion. But she does handle the SOPs, and she takes care of many different things. But the legal expertise is what we really need, and would like to see her pay increase for that.
You can say that in other departments. I mean, this is the government. It's not private enterprise. I mean, there's just limits to where you can go with all these things, and there are a lot of departments that need expertise, but there's a limit to where the government will pay.
She's even above Becky. I'm not going to say that.
We have a motion and a second for to accept the mayor's recommendation at $17,701,948. Any other discussion relative to this motion? Commissioner Sandlin.
That's with
Lisa,
those changes.
That's an increase of $610,147, is that correct?
Yeah, that looks about right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Commissioner Sandlin didn't think they ought to get raises in this department.
That motion carries. We are on page 50. Special patrols, it's on the back page. This is the Lake Patrol. These are federal dollars reimbursed by the Corps of Engineers. Mayor Burgess.
$56,905 is my recommendation.
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Commissioner Sandlin, thank you. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
I take it they accept that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped the
Well,
card.
this, yeah. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Page 53, Administration of the Sex Offender Registry. Page 53, Mayor Burgess.
Okay, I'm recommending 7,100. Lisa, would you, Regina, tell me, remind us what that is?
There is revenue. There are revenue coming in. Revenue is coming in. My grammar.
My son's struggling with that right now.
That comes in to help offset
Yes.
these expenses.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan, seconded by Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Detention, pages 54 and 55. Do you have anybody coming to the table with you on this one?
No, ma'am. It's just
You
me.
are doing good. What a woman. What a
They
woman.
hung you out to dry tonight, I'm telling you.
Okay. Mayor Burgess, your recommendation, please.
Okay.
Okay, you'll notice that for the whole jail, the recommendation is $12,660,156. 12 million.
12 million.
12 million. Let's go again. $12,660,156. Again, there's some increases in other salaries and wages because, again, of the steps, et cetera. They've requested under 187 overtime pay $193,000. I've reduced that to $120,000. That's my recommendation. Let's see, let me make a few other notes. The rest of that page there is pretty much the same. We come over to, let's see here, food prep supplies. We've sort of made some reductions there. 421 is a $5,000 reduction. Food supplies is a $200,000 reduction. Prisoners' clothing, we've reduced that some by $5,000. Utilities, we've reduced that by $100,000 I have, and it still looks like the $625,000 should be sufficient based on their 10-month track. we've added a line item here, which is a one-time capital expenditure, you might say, in repair and improvement expenditure of about $275,000. We only had 10 there this year. We must make some serious improvements in our camera system and in that jail. It's just a huge need for safety and security of both the prisoners and our staff members. So that's why you're seeing, if you took that 275 out, you'd see that we have a reduced budget by a few $100,000. We will make note that we have to try to be as efficient as we can because we're losing more than $1 million in revenue from the state prisoners that they've been paying us for. So we're still not going to be, the revenue's down more than we've reduced this, I'll just tell you, but this appears the most we can do right at this point. So that's the recommendation, the $12,660,156.
Just a question, I just want to know an answer about that equipment, 275 or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Why couldn't we go to the development tax?
Actually, we're going to use the money that comes in from the courts. That's for improvements to the jail.
It will not come out of county general. I mean, in that respect, it'll come through a special litigation tax that,
Right.
we have just for this purpose, that we can use.
Good answer.
It doesn't have to affect your property tax.
Chief Deputy Nelson, your comments on the mayor's recommendation?
Okay, I agree with everything, but would like to also request the promotion that we have in for a maintenance supervisor. Currently, we have 3 maintenance personnel, and would like for this gentleman to be promoted. He currently does all of the bidding and takes care of the purchasing and is on call. He does a good job. And so he's currently taking care of managing the 2 other maintenance men.
You got a job description for that position if we do it?
Do we have a job description? Yes, I mean, we do, I suppose. Again, we've struggled with this. We've had discussions and we've reviewed this. I think that's, was you moving this person from, where did I had some notes somewhere, from to a supervisor. He's not supervising anybody, and he is.
Well, he is supervising the other 2.
Well, they're already much higher grade and pay than he is even now, right?
They're the same grade.
They're all the same grade.
They're the same grade. He just didn't have the experience coming in as the other ones did.
When was he hired?
He's hired the same day as this other guy. But this guy had more experience recognized coming in.
But a $5,000 increase would take him up to another grade.
I think they requested a mechanic, but I mean, the supervisor, maintenance technician would be, I mean, I think was like Ben.
Yeah, I mean,
And what he was
that
doing
kind of
was not a
increase would be very.
I put him in the pay grade description that I could find that.
I think
that would fit.
I think you said that it was mechanic.
Yes,
but
there really wasn't a supervisory position.
I think, these 2 people were hired at the same time, and you're telling us that the one that was hired at grade 4, step 2, is doing the same work as the person you hired at grade 4, step 4.
Yes, sir. He's doing that in addition to taking care of all the purchasing and the bidding and the scheduling and the other supervisory.
I didn't bring my salary schedule.
You're saying he's directing the other 2 what to do?
Yes.
But he's at a lower pay grade than the ones he's
No,
directing.
they're all the same pay grade.
They're all grade 4, but their others are on higher step. They got put in at a higher step.
Well, what is the grade there?
4.
Grade 4.
Well, what would be the difference?
But if she
of 4
makes
and
this
5?
promotion, it's going to take them up to a grade 5 or 6.
Well, what is a 5 from a 4?
I didn't bring my salary schedule, and I should have. I'm sorry.
Let me see if I can back into it.
I don't say I can be that high with what they're paying.
Well, hold on.
I mean, by being a minus 30 years, I sort of understand what you're saying myself.
Would it be prudent to look at this right after
Just
the one in
about the
juvenile
other one.
detention tomorrow night?
Yeah, be fine.
Also move to defer, we'll defer this portion of the budget tomorrow night so we can settle on this.
Second.
And this is the maintenance supervisor. Is that what it's called?
Well,
Actually, we'd have to defer the whole
Actually,
detention
yeah,
budget.
detention.
Well, that's true.
Well, don't you have to have a job description, as they mentioned a minute ago? Where is it?
Well, we've got job descriptions.
Ain't
Whether
got
this
job
person
description.
fits into that particular one, we'll have to determine.
Do you
Human
have a
resources.
recommendation right now, or would you rather wait till tomorrow night and give you time to research this?
Sonia's already researched this. I mean, I can't see moving, these people are not making that much money. Where were we?
Right here.
They're at $28,000 to $31,000. And giving this person another $5,000 it seems like a reach. I mean, I could see putting them equal to these other people or a little bit more, but I just don't.
It seems like a reach, Mayor, but what she's sitting here telling you, he's guiding what these other men's doing and everything.
You don't come up with a
Yeah, we'll take a look at
recommendation by tomorrow night.
Oh, my.
I mean, I see it myself for more than maybe somebody else, because I've been a manager of maintenance for 30 years. And when you get on somebody that's overseeing other people, you'd be surprised how much you're going to get right there.
Okay, gentlemen, we have a motion to defer this entire detention budget proposal until tomorrow night. Any discussion relative to that motion?
Well, I was just wondering, do we need to defer the entire budget?
How do we vote
or
on-
just the one?
Well, we did on the other one, so I
Or
think
just
it's
one.
fair
But you
to
could-
cross if we're
You
going
could
to
approve
defer.
everything with that exception.
With that,
I mean,
you could.
Either way you want to
And
do
we
it.
could, I can
I'll
always
be
come
glad
back
to
and fix
adjust
it.
my
I
motion.
would prefer we approve all the rest of it except for that one item.
And then
And we
just
come
look
back.
at this
We
one.
did the other department that way. I just want to be consistent, I think, with what that other department we just did a while ago. We held it off until tomorrow night.
Could we not approve the
No,
budget
we
and
just
look
did
at
the
that
position
again
for
tomorrow
that
night?
on-
We did not,
on-
because he
on
voted
the
against the
list.
sheriff's budget. You voted against the
Is
sheriff's
it the whole
budget.
thing?
I think, we just deferred to tomorrow night.
That was juvenile detention.
Juvenile
That was
detention.
the,
Juvenile detention.
that was
Ms.
the,
Duke, that's right.
reception's going from
This is-
part-time to
Oh,
full-time.
that one. I thought you were talking about the sheriff's.
We got to know which grade and step.
Yeah,
we're in.
Yeah.
to
What
the legal
kind
and
of-
sheriff's
what kind of
department.
position
Yeah.
is it?
Okay.
Go back to.
Gentlemen, let's decide what we want to do with this motion.
I'll withdraw my motion, and that way we can vote on this, and we can always bring this up again tomorrow night.
Okay. Commissioner Jordan has withdrawn his motion. Commissioner Sandlin, will you withdraw your
I'm
second?
just trying to, I'm in favor of staying consistent with the other department, because we could have dealt it the same way, but, I mean, we holding it, making it come back for the whole thing. I'd rather.
Approve all of it except.
I'll withdraw just to make everybody happy.
Thank you, Commissioner Sandlin.
Need to treat everybody fairly.
Okay.
So we
And
can-
and we'll start here.
Can we not approve
Right up
this,
here
and then
first,
just bring, we can bring this up at any of the budget
Exactly.
meetings?
Exactly.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to approve the mayor's recommendation
For detention.
for detention.
The mayor's recommendation, seconded by Commissioner P. With the exception of,
No, there was no exception.
No.
There's
oh,
no
that's
change
right,
yet.
that's right.
We can,
Sorry.
we can bring it back up tomorrow night with any more information and
Okay.
adjust
Yeah.
at that point in time.
That's a
Thank you.
different story. I'd like to
Okay.
do that.
So we have a
So-
motion to approve the mayor's recommendation for detention.
The accurate number then, with no adjustments, we're about
We didn't move that number.
63,000 above what last year's was, is that right? Okay.
Now, we're going to get some information on this.
Yes, sir. Well, he's going to give us some more information.
Okay.
Commissioner P.
It is
When you bring that, I want to know the difference between the step 2 and the step 4.
what they're doing.
Step two,
Yeah, whatever that guy's step
Step
is
4.
versus the other two.
Or he's grade 4.
Grade.
He's grade 4.
Yeah, grade 4, grade 2, whatever they are. I want to know the difference in pay between those.
It's very little difference.
Whatever
in
the
that, just a
difference is.
matter of a few hundred, several $100, not much.
So I won't actually put this on the agenda tomorrow night, you'll just bring it
Bring
up.
it up.
today.
One thing I did want to mention too, I don't know if you caught this, the revenues here are almost $1 million less than what they.
1.7 million.
1.7 million less than what they were last year. So, you know, we're looking at a slight increase here, but you're actually running that department over there on almost, what, 1.7 million less than what we did last year. So that's, to me, that is belt tightening.
It's more than 10% of this expense budget.
Commissioner Jernigan.
Safety. When was this discussed?
It was, and we agreed with the mayor's recommendation out of the budget.
So
the request was turned down out of budget.
Out of public safety.
Out of public safety.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, now, gentlemen, make sure that I understand. Ms. Short will not put the detention part on our agenda. We will just bring this up at some point in time in our discussion. Correct?
Other business?
We'll do it under other business. Okay. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Okay, let's move over to page 98. And we are again dealing with AURA, and this is the Sheriff's 2009 Burn JAG grant, page 98.
These are the two individuals that work on the reentry program. One for the jail and one for the workhouse. It's the second year, though we didn't really have a full year this year in it. So it's continuation is the second year of this AURA money.
It's all grant money.
It's all grant money.
Yes.
Take them both at one vote.
The other one is one position.
This is on page 99. It's the STOP grant.
And it is the domestic violence investigator.
Which we approved just
Which you approved.
recently.
Okay, well, no, this is a different one.
Oh, it's different.
That other one that was in that 106 in the sheriff's budget, that was not a AURA, that was a 75-25 grant. And then this one is just about 100%.
Motion
AURA.
approved both.
All right, this is for both of these, pages 98 and 99, and seconded by Commissioner P. Commissioner Schaefer? No? Okay. Commissioner P. Okay. Commissioner Sanders?
You mentioned the match, but I don't remember what that match was. It was
This is
very
not a
little.
match.
It wasn't a.
I don't think this is a match.
I thought one of them was.
On the AURAs,
Mm-hmm.
Regina, do you remember? If they were
I don't
matches?
think it was a match.
It wasn't any match.
Do you remember?
Okay.
Any further discussion?
I'm good. No match.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Let's turn, please, to Section 6. And before we look at this, Lisa needs to give us an overview on the revenues and the fund balance. And this is the DEA fund.
Now, this is the fund that was brought up from the Sheriff's Department. It's a new fund, and this one is a little different from all the other funds. You can't estimate revenue until you just can't estimate revenue. You can only record and recognize revenue when you receive it. So with this one, the only thing that we're estimating into next year is what we think will be unencumbered at the end of the year. $6,000 is all that is this budget. All of it going to confidential drug enforcement. When we close the books in June, the Sheriff's Department will be coming back in your August meeting to then budget whatever funds they have that have not been encumbered anywhere else. It's just a little different on how this one works. So this is a $6,000 fund appropriation.
Thank you, Commissioner Jernigan.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schaefer. Discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That motion carries. Turn, please, to Section 7, and this is the Drug Control Fund. And again, Mrs. Nolan will give us an overview on the revenues and the fund balances.
Okay. We're estimating a reduction And revenues, the amended revenue budget is $628,000 for the current year, but next year we're only estimating $448,600. There's reductions in the sale proceeds from confiscated property, and then the revenues coming from the courts are just, they're down. They're down. We're estimating fund balance for this fund at the beginning of next fiscal year at $700,000. So we'll be using, with the appropriations that the mayor has recommended, $669,176. We'll be using $220,576 of the fund balance. And this is the one where they eliminated 2 positions out of this budget. One just moved to a lieutenant position, as you were, Commissioner Schaefer, talking to earlier, one of you. That it just, the lieutenant position moved from here and moved into a vacant lieutenant position in the sheriff's budget. And then the other position was eliminated. It was a patrol position.
Chief Deputy Nelson, any comments?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Jernigan,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bullen. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, is that it for Chief Deputy Nelson? Boy,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Okay, any other business? Gentlemen, our next meeting is tomorrow night, May 18, and hopefully we will finish the general fund and pick up the Economic Development Fund and the Development Tax Fund. So see you tomorrow evening at 5:30. We are adjourned.